Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of BFA. Today, I am alone. Today, I'll be discussing the first Mad Max movie released in 1979, heralded as one of the best action movies of all time. Is that true? We'll see. So obviously we're doing retro right now, and onto retro topics and all that stuff. And I I decided that I want to do the Mad Max movies. I've never watched them. I don't really see them. People talk about the old Mad Max movies. They're not a hot topic. In the space of talking about any of them, they're mostly heralded as like I guess products of their time, really. And especially this one. This one is again. It's talked about as if it were the one of the best action movies of like that year or whatever. Like it might not be to that level, but it's certainly I can certainly see why it's revolutionary. Of course, two. Of course, how do I word this? In the movie's defense, it came out at a time. It came out at a time where like special effects weren't really that like understood. It came out 2 years after Star Wars, sure, but this was made on a shoestring budget. I mean, this did not cost that much money. This really didn't. Three fucking hell. 350,000 to 400,000 Australian dollars. Like I don't know how much that is. Let me check. Not inflation calculator. Actually, I'll use inflation calculator later. I'll just I'll take away this whatever. Australian to American. Take American dollars. Here we go. Let's see how much it it would cost. Let's see. Does it let me see? Let me see where in the year in 1979. Let's see. Here, I guess. Here we go. When did this movie came? It won't really matter. I mean, sure, it kind of does. This movie came out in April. Where is it? There we go. No. There's ads, but hold on. Like, yeah, it's not that. It doesn't sound like a lot of money. That's because it's not. Usually shoestring budget movies, or like I guess what's considered right now low budget movies, they don't cost that much money. Like it's actually more money than what the original Mad Max cost. Usually low budget, at least in the US sort of market, it's considered I think 2 million is like I guess like the threshold of when it start like the utmost like the maximum of where it stops being low budget. So sure, it's still low budget for our standards, but still like low budget in a very big sense. So how do I convert this? Wait. 1975 to 19. So how much it is? I can't read this. Oh, USD to AUD. Okay. That's much easier. Uh, so in around the time it released, around the time the first Mad Max we released, like on the day, so we're gonna use the day. Uh, an Australian dollar was 0.9 USD. So I'm just gonna take that and then multiply it. Now might seem counterintuitive, but I know what I'm doing because I know that multiplying uh, decimals gives you a like multiplying just things that are 0 point something actually gives you a lower decimal, a lower number than the one you start than the one that's the I forgot his name. It gives you a lower product than the number that's being multiplied. 0.9. Do I use the entire thing? I'll use the entire thing. 0.9174. It's not that much of a difference, really, from I guess normal budget. From I guess like USD. It was made on. It's still 300,000. It's still in that 300,000 ballpark, at least for the lower amounts. It's probably it's probably still 300,000 when we take into the $400 metric. So split down the middle. 375,000. That's still in that 300,000 ballpark. It's not. It wasn't that expensive. Okay, that's the best thing to put it. It was not that expensive, but this movie really did revolutionize action movies. At least I guess in a way, using a lot like I guess using physical stuff like practical effects. This movie doesn't really use doesn't use at all any special effects. That's like I guess the big difference between this and Star Wars is the fact that this movie does not use special effects all that much, and it's something that we see throughout the Mad Max franchise, even to the latest movie that came out last year, Furiosa. It's something that stands true for every single Mad Max movie, that they are usually made using practical effects. So this movie revolutionized the fact that you can do some kind of dangerous shit with practical effects in that sort of ballpark where it did revolution. I guess I would save this for the actual like effects and action stuff. Like it's like the opposite to Star Wars in a way, where Star Wars was what you could make with all this like big technology, and Mad Max is what you could make with very little of it, and something a lot more physical, a lot more practical. Star Wars using a lot of like special stuff and revolutionizing that in that department. Mad Max really elevated this, and hell, it made a ton of money. Technically, it made $100 million in the box office. I don't think I don't think it's I don't think that might be it's like release. Let's see. Was it there? I can't tell. I'm just gonna use. It's $100,000 in 1979 is a lot of fucking money. It's not it's a huge chuck and change. I don't think. I don't think. I don't think it made that much money. Oh, here we go. Box office. Oh, it was that much money. $100 million worldwide. Really? Inflation counter mark. Let's see how much it. Let's see how much that. Let's see how much that is. Not a big number, but not a. concrete number, but we'll fucking work with it. How much money, I guess equivalent money, did Mad Max make in 1977? 79. That's not bad. That's not bad. It like that $100 million today. Hold on. That $100 million today is $437 million, which is not bad. That's around what the Mad Max series usually makes. It's not it's not a fuck ton of money. Like it is a fuck ton of money, sure. Like, and it's like I guess the most successful technically in the franchise. It's like it's the best performing one. So yeah, I think yeah, it made a lot of money. It's the most successful one out of all the movies, out of all the Mad Max movies. But yeah, so let's talk about the movie. Actually, it's been quite a bit, quite a lot of time, obviously. That's happened between this movie and today, and that's mostly what retro is about. Just kind of seeing, do these movies hold up, and also kind of talking about them as they were at the time, both taking it as a movie you can appreciate now and a movie that you could appreciate back then. Looking at both perspectives and see how they work. So let's begin, right? Also, you might be I don't know if you might be hearing the computer a lot more. I'm wearing earphones, so I don't know if you are. So the mic quality is either better or worse. I had no idea. And I actually don't know which earphone has the mic. So I have one off because it fucking sounds weird when I have both on. But I have no idea which one sounds the mic and which one doesn't. I'll figure it out, I guess, when I hear this. Actually, no, listening this back. I'm stupid, and either like I know it's kind of perfect when I know I make a lot of pauses, whatever. Fucking side tangent aside, goddamn. Even though it's kind of a staple here on Media Fake. Let's talk about the movie, right? I've been fucking yapping about nothing for 13 minutes. Let's get into it. Starting off with what you always start off with, kind of, the effects and action. So, I'm not gonna compare it to the newer Mad Max movies. That's unfair. Fury Road, and Furiosa have very big action sequences and very practical and all, and like a big special and big effects and all that. So I am not going to compare it to those movies. That is unfair to those movies. It's unfair to this movie. However, I am going to fuck. I'm dying. I am gonna critique this movie based on what I see, and also kind of what this movie is heralded as, which again is one of the best one of the best action movies of all time. I'm gonna critique that because I don't think it's right. I don't think it's correct. But yeah, what the fuck is that? This? Oh. Okay, whatever. Just kind of looking at Stephen King apparently wrote a fucking a book where I guess he reviews stuff, and he gave he gave a review for Mad Max in here. But yeah, the effects. Let's get into them. So the effects of the movie for their time are, I think, really good. So what this movie, what I saw, like what I thought going to the movie is that it would be very gory. It's not. I'm gonna talk about it here because I don't know where else to talk about it. But this movie, at least to me, isn't very gory, and people like, and I think I think very understandably, I guess, people back in the 70s, or I guess this would be kind of the 80s era, didn't think of it that way. uh, I would put it. It obviously back then gore and stuff wasn't as gory as it is today, as you can make it today. So movies were seen mostly as uh movies mostly didn't have a lot of stuff, and the ones that did, like the ones that kind of peered into a little bit more violent than the others, were given like the R rating, or I think by that point it was called the X rating or something. It got renamed at some point. Obviously, Mad Max is now R rated, but I think I don't wait no X rated was what's currently NC-17. I'm stupid. That was always R rated. It was never S rated. I'm just dumb. It was never X rated. It was just kind of that was NC-17. But yeah. So it got the highest rating that you can have as a commercial movie. Obviously, NC-17 isn't very soluble. And to be honest, I do and don't see why. It has a lot of violence in it, and sure, yeah, I mean, it has that. But it's not like, it might just be me that I've played Mortal Kombat, Doom. I've watched a bunch of shit like that. I'm just not like, I'm desensitized to it all. But like I don't like I for the time I could definitely see it as being, you know, uh as being a very gory thing. Like it went in a direction that like a lot of movies didn't go in at the time. But there's also just the fact that it's not gory at all. It's really not. Like, I don't want to bring up the new movies. I'll bring it up as one example, because because this was like I guess a good showcase of gore in the Mad Max series. This is obviously just the first movie, but gore in the Mad Max series, I think, to me, got pretty bad in Furiosa. Not pretty bad, but like it got to its peak in Furiosa where Furiosa got her arm chopped off, and like the next scene had the arm like being eaten by maggots and all that shit. Like that was gruesome. That was some gruesome shit. And in here, I guess the biggest showcase of gore is when Goose gets burnt and all that, and we see like his burnt hand, which for a movie on a shoestring budget, I am surprised they even got to do that. That's probably like a prosthetic, or not even a prosthetic, probably like a mark, like a just like a not a model. Yeah, I guess like a, yeah, I guess like a model, or a, what are things called, the malls? I forgot. But yeah, like it's just kind of Not it's kind of like a like just a model they use. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, like it's cool, and also even on the shoot, but going to the, I guess you're finishing up with the gore. It's not gory. I don't know what these people in the '70s were on, saying that this is fucking diabolical and you should never watch this movie because this movie's only for it's for the deranged. Here's the fucking this guy said that. Oh, this movie, this movie has the fucking emotional uplift of Mein Kampf. What the fuck? Like, okay, fine, sure. It's not exactly the most uplifting movie, but I don't think that's the point. It and it's also saying that it would promote violence. I expected something a lot more than from fucking the start of Mad Max, where it seems like this franchise got kind of progressively gory as it goes on, instead of kind of starting that way. What? Can you guys hear that? No. Oh yeah, you can. I'm stupid. I need to get a fucking new chair or something. Anyways. So yeah, like I don't get where they got these fucking ideas from. It's just there. It's really just the opinions are there, and sure, it's I guess gory for the time, but I guess right now it's not. And honestly, I think that the first Star Wars movie had more gore than this. At least that movie had like blood and everything, where the guy gets the arm chopped off. In this movie, we don't see any of that shit. So Star Wars should have gotten an R rating. Not this. This movie did not need the R rating. There was no like bad there was no. I guess there's not a lot of cursing in Mad Max, anyways. But there's not a lot of it here. Or at least a lot that I didn't pick up on because I don't understand Australian dialect. Also, I watched the. Thankfully, for fuck's sake, it was on Max, the service, or I guess HBO Max, and it was the original 1979 version because I tried to watch because it was on Amazon Prime, but that was the 1980 American version where it was dubbed over because fucking America back then wanted to be America, wanted to have their movies be all American, and didn't like the fact that that nobody could understand what the hell was going on, even though I did. It's not a hard movie to follow. It's fucking English. The only thing that's like kind of there that what it gets confused people is like the dialect, but even then, like you can pick up on context clues. People aren't stupid. I guess general public has always been stupid, but that's besides the point. God, I fucking hate the general public so much. But yeah, like it wasn't even fucking saying. What was it? Okay, no. Yeah, okay. I watched the 1979 version, so I watched it with all the fucking Australian dialect. Which, I mean, again, like I said, like it's English. You can understand it. It's not hard to understand. It really is not hard to understand the Australian dialect. But yeah, some of the I guess like the other big thing for the effects are the car sequences. Uh, I mean they're cool. They're revolutionary for their time. They are. I don't think any movie at that time tried something as dangerous as Mad Max did with like, using real cars as like with them blowing up and shit. That's some dangerous stuff to be trying in a movie, especially something as like especially like Mad Max. I mean, Mad Max is known for that stuff, at least right now. But it's kind of crazy to really see that, and like it's all really good. Like for like at the end when Toe Cutter gets killed, like it's a fucking semi truck that hits him, and it looks like they show all of that. It looks kind of gnarly, and I think I think that's all really cool. And like there's not a lot of action. It's I think one of the most important action movies, but there's not a lot of action. A lot of the action comes from the the practical effects, and all of that. That's mostly where the action comes from. There isn't any like I guess big action sequence, action set pieces, and that is, I guess, to be expected from a movie that cost $300,000. Like, I wouldn't expect a big action sequence to happen in a movie with so little money. It's not. I don't think it's I don't think it's that unexpected, and sure, at least like what showed here, well, like entertained. Like it wasn't bad. I feel like the effects really do carry the movie, but yeah, I think they are very good. They're very revolutionary for their time, and definitely allowed us to actually see what we could get away with in live action movies. And it did pave the way a lot for what we got now. So kudos to that. And it is fucking enjoyable. So let's move on to the characters of the movie. And first up is obviously Mad Max Rockatansky. Fuck. Max Rockatansky, Jesus Christ, is a hell of a name. I guess that's not even a fucking real last name. It's a reference to something. I forgot. But it's a reference to something. But Max Rockatansky in this movie, I think he's fine. He's not the best character, but I do understand where he comes. Like I understand why he does what he does in the movie. Clearly, just I mean, he's a cop. He's the best in the thing. He accidentally stops a criminal that, or I guess like gets someone killed that maybe that was very important, and it all kind of goes to shit there. He gives up being a cop to pursue, to get away from everything, but the gang is still there. So yeah, I think the story of him getting around screwed over all the time and him finally fucking breaking is understandable. But that's like beyond everything that's in the personality. But I can see the starts of like the character George Miller envisioned Max to be. Obviously, just this normal guy. He's very good at his job. He's the best at his job, and all that. And he just kind of goes down. Like it kind of goes to shit very quickly because of just like not a mistake he made, but definitely an event in his life that I didn't think would have any effect. And yeah, it works. It definitely works. I feel like he's gonna get better in the later movies, but I can't really fault this movie for that. I didn't go in that I didn't go all the way in. I will mention some things. But yeah, I like that this movie kind of built up to that, but I will kind of still complain about Max's like origin story in a way. So yeah, I mean Max Rockatansky is a fine enough protagonist to have for this movie, and probably he's cliche now, sure, but I guess by that time it was something novel. And yeah, I don't know what else to say really. So let's just move on to Jessie. She doesn't do much in the movie, really. I do like she's not just a pushover. She actually does defend herself, and that's good. I like that. Obviously, living in in the dump that is the Mad Max world should at least get you some abilities to protect yourself. So I understand it, but she doesn't really do much about the movie, and she's mostly there to sort of fuel Max's revenge at the end, where he goes to get all of the guys from Toe Cutter killed. But I like that at least they built it up throughout the movie that Max does care about Jesse and like the relationship she has with Max and like he has with her and the love they have for each other. At least they made that clear to the movie and how much he wanted to protect Jesse and all that. Like that's good. I feel like that's good. But that's mostly what Jesse was as a character. And then next up is Jimmy Goose, which I fucking hell. I liked him as a character. I think he was funny, but that's kind of a lot of the all the characters here. They at least like Max. I guess Max before he went mad before before Goose died was definitely kind of that kind of like him. And I did like Goose in the movie. I think he was funny. He served his purpose as a friend and kind of the catalyst for a lot of for a lot of Max's motivations and definitely what happened in the rest of the movie. But yeah, I think Jimmy Goose did serve his purpose as a character, so I can't really fault him from that. And he was and when he was around, it was always fun. He was always a fun character to watch and listen, fucking him do jokes and stuff. I think it was fun. And next up is our villain of the movie, Toe Cutter. I think Toe Cutter is sort of like the start of the Mad Max villains. He's clearly threatening and also very persistent. He is a persistent motherfucker. He does not let anything go. Rarely does. And I appreciate that. He's also kind of crazy. So, also, really, really like that. It's sort of like the blueprint for a lot of the Mad Max villains later on the line. And sure, like he doesn't have a lot of screen time, doesn't have a lot of motivation. I mean, he does. He wants to avenge a Knight Rider. The Knight Rider. Like they scream the fucking name. But yeah, that's how Toe Cutter does. And I think he fits the job well of being this crazy villain, crazy backer gang guy. So yeah, I like that. So yeah, I think that's all like the main like the big characters I can really think of. So let's talk about the plot now. Something that this is where I think the movie kind of falls apart for me. The characters are fine. They aren't. I mean, the characters they are good. They serve their purpose, but they're not. They're not like the best written characters either. They're just kind of there and they serve their purpose. The plot is where it really kind of it falters for me. This is supposed to be a post-apocalyptic Australia, which I like what this movie did in retrospect, but I think when it came out, George Miller didn't really get across the fact that this was supposed to be post-apocalyptic. They just kind of felt like crime-ridden Australia. That's what this movie felt like. At least like the tone, the setting was giving. It wasn't post-apocalyptic. It was crime-ridden. Maybe that's what George Miller was going for originally with Mad Max, where it was originally going to be more, a bit more like a bit more focused on the crime aspect rather than the post-apocalypse aspect. But talking about what I said, I like this movie, what this movie did in retrospect, where the wasteland isn't just the only thing there. There's also civilization, very little of it, but there's civilization out there, and people, and it's usually very separate from what's actually in the wasteland. So yeah, I think in retrospect, I do like that about the movie, but I guess like within the movie itself, I don't get the feel of a post-apocalyptic setting. So it kind of, and if that's what George Miller was going for at the time, it kind of falters in that. The plot itself, like there's no, like there really isn't a reason to care, like for Matt to care about Toe Cutter's gang, even though they kind of pester him. I do like the fact that kind of but there's nothing. I like the fact that it's persistent throughout the movie, and the villain's motivations are persistent through the movie. But Max's doesn't really have a reason to, and I guess that would be part of the tragedy. I think that probably works as part of the tragedy of Max's character, where one job kind of did him over and all that. But yeah, and also talking about that, the fact that Max doesn't actually go mad until the final 20 minutes of the movie. The movie, I said that I like kind of liked it being an origin story, but I will say that it being that us not getting Mad Max until the last 20 minutes is a bit ridiculous. So you spent the entire movie building it up, kind of, with him going outside the force. We don't really see him become. There is nothing in the movie that kind of says that he would kind of become that way, but I guess it makes sense. He's not a cop anymore. He has his own rules, so he's gonna punish the criminals however he wants to. So I guess I could see it, but like there's no real hints towards it throughout the movie, like any like violent tendencies Max may have. I guess he has that fear. Yeah, well, he had that fear where when Goose died or got very heavily scarred, where he thought that if he continued being a cop or get part of the it's like main force police MFP. I think it's MFP. If he kept being part of the MFP, he would fall down the same path as like Tokar's gang and all that. So I guess I could see that being kind of a motivation. I like him seeing like that sort of violent side to himself, and him kind of being used to the violence. So maybe, but he still fell down that path, and I feel like that's part of the tragedy of the character. So I don't know what the fault the movie of that, but what I do fault the movie over is him. Fucking 20 minutes left, and that's when we get Mad Max. It's a big build up. It's a big build up that has like one setup and throughout like the mid part of the movie, and yeah, I don't know. It just kind of seems like a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened just to kind of make that happen. Like a lot of conveniences that don't really relate to Max's life all that much. But yeah, I don't know. It's not like I'm not the biggest fan. It's not like I don't like it. It's just that I feel like it's kind of undercooked in a way. And yeah, I think it's all I really gotta say about it. I think that Mad Max, looking back at it, isn't a bad movie. It's not an okay movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. At least for me, when I watch it, it's a good movie. I try to look at it at a very, I guess, in the moment lens, where I looked at it as if we were watching it in 1979. You know, all these like trying to be part of that and reviewing the movie as it was, as it was, and also seeing if it holds up now. And I feel like this movie does hold up now. Sure, there are maybe a million other movies like it, but it's the original, and it has that charm. Where sure, it's a big cliche, but it's only a cliche now because it made those cliches. So yeah, I think the movie has a lot of problems in the plot, but it did revolutionize the genre of and also the genre of action, also the practical effect department. So it has its place in history, which is why I am giving the first Mad Max movie a B tier. So, what did you guys think about the first Mad Max movie? Leave in the comments below. All of our socials are in the description. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.